Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day. A channel that is run by the fans for you, the fan. And you can become a member of this channel, guys, if you want to. If you've already subscribed, if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you get all this great daily content. And also, if you want to join, you can pay just 99p to support the channel and get some perks as well. All the perks are listed in the membership offer. Hit that join button now and become a member of the channel, become a Glasgow Rangers Nation loyal, like 26 others. We only launched the scheme the other day, a fantastic start. And come and join the over 1,700 others. We're so close now. I think we're 4 away from 1,800 guys, making acceleration towards that 2K mark, which is our next target. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about news. Let's talk the latest news. Let's obviously start off with Sam Lammers. It now appears, according to the Daily Record, according to the BBC, according to Sky Sports, and according to an awful lot of sources, that Sam Lammers is set to become Michael Beale's fourth summer signing. This is what is widely. It's been a long day, guys. It's been at work all day, tiring day. What has been widely reported by Scottish media. So it is apparently Lammers will join Rangers on a 4-year contract, according to a number of media sources, for reportedly £3.5 million. This is a vast amount under what Atalanta paid for him when they signed him. Now, a reminder that obviously he came from PSV. After having a successful loan spell for Herenveen, that's when the £9 million deal was agreed with Atalanta for Sam Lammers. Lammers, like I said, is joining on this 3.5 million 4-year contract, and like I said, will become Michael Beale's fourth summer signing. It's been reported, like I said, Daily Record said the Light Blues have agreed a fee with the Italian side for their out-of-favour striker. The 26-year-old has recently spent seasons on loan at Sampdoria, Empoli and Eintracht Frankfurt, and has been deemed surplus to requirements by Gian Piero Gasparini, who is the Atalanta manager. So it does look like this deal is pretty much there. Obviously, the transfer window opening on Wednesday. I think that's when we'll see the final signing made, with Lammers becoming the fourth Rangers player this summer to sign a contract and transfer to the club. Obviously, we welcome Sam Lammers. Look, I know from your comments, there's a few of you out there that doubt Lammers, that don't think that he is up to the job, that don't think he is a good signing. Look, I've talked about it on previous videos. I'm not going to go into his skill, his style, his ability of play too much. Look, if you want that, go back and watch some of the videos from the other day. There are lots of content on there. All I'm going to say is we need to trust the process. We need to trust Michael Beale. We need to trust that he's getting this right. He is building the squad he wants. We've got to give him the time, the space, the trust from us, the fans, in him as our manager to get this right. And at the end of the day, what he's done so far for the club, if you look at that, if you look at the Raskin deal, the Cantwell deal, the ones you can actually judge because they've actually played first team football, then you've got to say that he knows what a good player is. He knows how to sign a good player. He knows how also to coach those players and develop those players, which is something that he has done with Todd and Nicholas. And I think, those two will only get better this summer and into next season with a full pre-season behind them at Rangers. Okay, so let's move on. We've got a couple of Rangers legends to talk about this morning. Alex Mcleish, obviously, former manager and title winner. We've got Barry Ferguson, former Rangers captain, to talk about. Let's talk about a departing Rangers player now, a player who has obviously left as he was out of contract this summer. Ryan Kent has finalised his deal with Fenerbahce, according to numerous media sources. And as you can see in this picture, a deal has now been confirmed for the out of contract former Rangers winger. Kent is obviously gone to Turkey, which comes as a little bit of a surprise for me. I honestly thought that he would want to go back down south, that he would want to try and make his name. Make his name in the English game, want to go and play in the Premier League, possibly the likes of Burnley, the Villa, people like that. But it seems that obviously that he's chosen to go to Fenerbahce. That Fenerbahce no doubt can offer him a massive, massive deal. And I've got no doubts that, if we can ever find out what the terms of this financial deal are, that he has obviously done very well for himself. But obviously, we wish Ryan all the best. Look, I know that perhaps he didn't leave in the best way possible, not having had the best season. So overall, Ryan's gone now. Good luck to him. Let's move on. Let's concentrate on the new season, concentrate on our new players, and focus on obviously catching that lot from across the city and putting them back in their place. Talking of putting them back in their place, former Rangers captain Barry Ferguson has called for Rangers to restore the natural order in Glasgow. What a statement. One thing I love about Barry is he's always good for a quote, and he's always good for a controversial quote, isn't he? We love old Barry for that. But Barry's had a controversial career. He's had controversial moments, and even now in the media, he still has those times when he comes out with these statements that are just a little bit controversial and also a little bit of a dig at that lot from across the city. Now, Barry Ferguson, when being interviewed recently, talked about the fact that he felt that there was a need to restore the old natural order in Glasgow. Obviously, by that he means Rangers been the dominant force in Glasgow, which I know that is the natural order after all, isn't it? That is how things should be. We are the biggest team in Glasgow, the most successful team in Glasgow. I know they don't like that. I know they won't admit that. I know we get the usual, you're only 12 years old, you've only won one title, blah, blah, blah. Oh, shut up. Whatever. Not true. We've won 55 titles, which is more than you. We're more successful than you. We're bigger than you. So just leave it. Just leave it, guys. You're not going to win the argument. Stop being so pathetic. I know that's hard for a Celtic fan, but there we go. But Barry Ferguson, writing in his column for the Daily Record, insists that no matter what happens at Celtic in terms of them replacing their manager after Ange Postecoglou left this summer to go to Tottenham, Rangers need to really take control and take ownership back of this city. This is what he wrote. He said, "This is no time for anyone at Rangers to take their eye off the ball. Yes, I absolutely get it. The sight of Ange Postecoglou leaving Celtic for Spurs will have delighted some of my old club supporters, but I'm not one of them. When I wrote last week that I didn't want the big Aussie to quit for Spurs, I meant every word of it, because I wanted Michael Beale to stand up, to challenge from across the city, and then overcome it. Put it this way, Celtic's decades of dominance are not going to be ended by default, and it's worth remembering that while Postecoglou claimed 5 out of 6 trophies in his 2 years at Parkhead, this was just the latest part of a pattern which stretches way back longer than a couple of seasons. In total, that's 17 trophies they've picked up over the last 7 campaigns. Just let that sink in for a moment. From the 21 that have been up for grabs over that period, they've stuck 17 of them in their own trophy cabinet. And if anyone at Ibrox thinks that's even close to being considered acceptable, then they don't deserve to be inside the building." That quote there, I love that quote from Barry. That is just what it is to be a Rangers player, to be a Rangers coach, to be a Rangers manager, to be a Rangers owner, a CEO, a director, whatever you are. Let's just read that quote again to you. This is what it is to be a Rangers player. And if anyone at Ibrox thinks that's even close to being considered acceptable, they don't deserve to be inside that building. You tell it as it is, Barry. You tell them that it's not acceptable. You tell them we deserve better. You tell them. So let's be very, very clear. This dominance has to stop, and there's no point in Rangers celebrating Postecoglou jumping ship into the English Premier League when their own house still needs putting in order. No, Rangers are going to have to earn the right to get back to the top of the Scottish game by their own actions. They won't just land there by getting lucky, and even if they do, they certainly won't stay there for very long. Picking up the odd trophy every now and again is not the way my old club was built. I was brought up to accept that delivering anything less than 1 or 2 pieces of silverware a season would be looked at as a failure. 100% agreed, Barry. Can't disagree with that. That might sound a bit demanding to some of the current players, but the sooner that attitude returns, the better. So don't waste any time laughing up your sleeve because Big Ange has left the premises. Get your finger out and get on with the job of restoring the natural order. And don't even think about letting complacency creep into the equation, because the chances are that Celtic will replace Postecoglou with a manager who is every bit as capable. He then goes on to talk, obviously, about the possible replacements for Celtic. But I've got to say one thing. You've got to admire the guy's passion, the guy's fight, the guy's love of the club is clear in what he's saying there. And he's right. He's 100% right. You know, one trophy, two trophies, whatever. You know, 5 out of 6 for Celtic, 17 out of 21. That is not acceptable for Glasgow Rangers. And any player that thinks that that is acceptable, it's over there, guys. There's the door. Keep walking. Take it. Keep walking. Because this club does not accept second best. This club does not accept losing. And we've got to get that into the players. And Barry's right with what he says. You know, no matter what you think of Barry Ferguson and what he said in the past and how he may have acted in the past, he's spot on with what he is saying here. I 100% agree with Barry Ferguson. We've got to set a standard and maintain that standard. And that standard has to be to knock them off their perch, to put them back where they belong under us in the city of Glasgow and in Scottish football and in European football. Put us back on top where we belong. 100% agree with what Barry Ferguson is saying in his Daily Record column. Okay, let's move on and talk about former Rangers manager Alec Mcleish. Now, Alex Mcleish has also been talking about next season and talking about, Rangers taking advantage of Celtic and taking advantage of the position that Celtic are currently in. Mcleish was talking to the Irish News. And he has stressed the need for Rangers to get off to a flying start next season, which I 100% agree with. We've got to hit the ground running. This new squad that Michael Beale is building with undoubted talents, Butland, Dujon Sterling, Dowell, Cantwell, Raskin, possibly Dessers, possibly Lammers, possibly, Panzo, possibly maybe Palmer in the long run. I don't know. Cifuentes. We've got to get this squad bedded in, based in, and good to go from day one, fighting. Now, he said, Celtic are going to face somewhat of a reset from last season after losing Ange Postecoglou and the highly likelihood of them losing, obviously, their coaching staff. So he's emphasised, the need for Rangers to really hit the ground running, to really push, to really, show that this new squad is ready to fight, is ready to compete, is ready to go on and have the success it needs this coming season. Building obviously on what Barry said there, Barry talked about the fact that there is that need to obviously, get the natural order back. And Alex Mcleish is kind of saying that this is the time now to exploit what Celtic reset after the departure of Postecoglou and his coaching staff. Mcleish went on to say to the BBC, Celtic may be with a new manager, new coach is planning a strategy, maybe not exactly the same as Postecoglou. So there could be a little bit of disruption, and Rangers have to start extremely well and extremely quickly. And that's why getting the players in early, I think Beale is doing exactly the right thing. He's building a squad for the future. He's building a team, and he is 100% accurate with what he's saying. This is exactly what he said. He said the big thing is recruitment. I've already mentioned that first bit. The big thing is recruitment. I'm sure Michael has a good eye for players, and if he has the right signings, they have to get off to a flyer. I'm sure he has brought young, vibrant players in, but when you come to a club like Rangers, you've got to hit the ground running. That's just the facts. So again, someone with a clear understanding of what it is to be part of Glasgow Rangers, what it is to be a Ranger. The fact that from day one you have to hit the ground running. From day one you have to be on your best performances. From day one you have to be putting that lot from across the city back in their cage, and that's what we need to see from the players this coming season. Whoever that is, Sam Lammers, Cifuentes, Jose Cifuentes, Kieran Dowell, Dujon Sterling, Jack Butland, Raskin, Cantwell, Jack, Suter, Goldson, Tav, whoever those players are that take the field for them, whoever pulls on the royal blue jersey has to go out there and show what it is to be a Glasgow Ranger, and the fact that second place is not good enough, and we fight till the end. Well, guys, that's bits and pieces of news from around the club. Some interesting insights, obviously, from former Rangers players and managers. Obviously Big Ek and Barry Ferguson, two Rangers legends. Obviously, news that Sam Lammers is on the verge. Obviously, there were other speculation as regards. There has been some speculation regarding Jose Cifuentes. Some people saying that he could join for 750,000 to 1.5 million possibly rising to a higher fee later. That fee not specified yet, depending obviously on appearances. Now, it's felt that Rangers, if they're going to get the Cifuentes deal across the line, need to move quickly, with other teams now starting to show an interest in the Honduran player. Apparently, teams in the Premier League have also started to cast a greedy eye towards Cifuentes. That's why I think there is now a new urgency within Rangers to get this deal done and over the line as soon as is possible. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you here on the channel. I wish you all the very best, guys. And remember, we are the people.